everyone, it's Stephanie from Mrs. D's Corner in the Intentional IEP. I'm so excited to be back today with another teacher chat with one of my very good friends, Becca. We're going to be talking all about different opportunities students have during summer. I thought this was the perfect time to talk about this, not only so teachers know, but also parents. So Becca, please introduce yourself, share your teaching experience and all the things.
So my name is Becca Del Real, and I am a therapeutic middle school teacher currently. I've been in the classroom for about 9 years, and also run a educational consulting kind of deal where I help parents understand the IEP process and apply that IEP that is working well in their home. And so, yeah, I'm excited for summer. I know that everyone else is. And so when Steph and I decided to talk about this, I was really excited to see, give teachers some tips and parents these tips that doesn't always have to be just a packet.
Yes.
That was kind of how this all came up with us.
We were talking about teachers sending home packets, which there's no beef against packets. There's a time and place for all the things, but there's other opportunities out there for learning as well that don't look like packets. So I wanted to bring Becca in as the expert who does all of this and share with y'all all about other opportunities for kids when it comes to summer. So let's get started. Well, what can parents do to prepare for summer break before it even happens?
So I think it's really important to make sure you're getting a, excuse me, let's try that one more. I think it's super important for parents to really have the tools they need by having the IEP report card. That is a super given. You have to know where your child is at and some of the things that they're doing that help them be successful. So what of those accommodations are really working in the classroom? And that can come just straight from the teacher. It could be a short conversation, a quick little email, and it just kind of helps parents and teachers be able to connect on that level of what is really working in the classroom.
What is an IEP report card? Is that the progress reports? Clarifying for myself, but also for everyone else. I've never heard it called that. So what is an IEP report card?
Same thing. So IEP report card, progress note, progress report. I think different states call them different things, and even different IEP systems all name them different things. But it's what progress has been made on that IEP goal, specifically in that benchmark or in that objective.
I like the name IEP report card. I like that better than progress reports. Like it sounds so much more not official, but like I like it. IEP report card. It just sounds so official.
Well, everyone else gets a report card all the time. You know, we get our quarterly report cards, and so that's I've heard them as progress reports too, but I always like that IEP report card because it gives you, not necessarily a grade, but that update, and that's really important to know where to start for this whole summer, kind of figuring out where you want to help your child grow.
Yeah, so start with the IEP report card. Well, what kind of work then do you as the teacher give, or do you recommend teachers can give for over summer aside from packets?
So yeah, I don't send home packets. If a parent asks for worksheets or recommendations, that's a different story. But I really help families kind of understand how they can integrate it in their daily life. So if a child has a reading goal of reading environmental print, which would be the words that are on the signs and the different stop signs and things like that, coming up with a way to incorporate that in their weekly shopping trips, in their Saturday nights out as a family, even in their walks around the town, in the form of like maybe a bingo board or something like that. As simple as that, where you can even cut up pieces of your favorite restaurants and just put them on from the menus. It's it could be an activity as a family and things of that nature where it's not unusual. It's not going to be homework. The kid's not going to huff and puff to sit down and do some work. It's more just a family outing, a gathering, something that you can do consistently to keep the child kind of moving in a forward motion. Doesn't necessarily need to be a lesson. It can just be a little bit of a fun activity. Another great example is, answering questions. So if you're going to the store and you put in your card to pay for it, have have a child help, with that process. It says, are you a member of this club? Yes or no. Well, if you put in yes, you have to put in your phone number. And that could be another goal. Is that is
Ooh.
that something that you're working on? Is having your child know your phone number? You don't have to have them practice dialing or doing things like that. We can enter it into the machine at Target and pull up our coupons and things like that.
I never even thought of that. Even like CVS, you have to put your phone
Mhm.
number in. You have to get prescriptions to get the coupons. You put your phone. I love that. See, this is why I bring Becca to y'all because she thinks of all these things that I love this. Well, let's backtrack a little bit because we have ESY, which is extended school year. So what do you recommend when either ESY is not available or a student doesn't qualify for ESY?
Um, Finding some resources in your community. There are a lot of things available to all children, and through park districts, through different clubs and things like that. They might just need to be accommodated a little bit. And so, looking into what's really in your community, I know that there's some communities out by me that have like special recreation programs and things like that. And so, really, just seeing what's around. Ask the teacher, ask your case managers. It's all about asking. If you have a friend in the community, or even you're in the pickup line and you see another mom, hey, what's your kiddo doing for the summer? Just kind of getting a feel of what's in your community, because there's a lot that isn't always known by parents and even by teachers. And so by just asking those questions, you might be able to get connected to the right people to be able to kind of find those resources. On top of it, you can also, create routines of your own. And I think that's super important, especially if you're working on life skills. Chore routines, even game routines. Lego is a really easy one to kind of think of with that, because they provide you those step by steps. But things that have routines are great to add in that aren't necessarily academic, but can be super enriching.
Yeah. And well, so for routines, that could be just like a morning routine and an afternoon routine and a day, like a nighttime routine. And then those can shift back into back to school time as well, so that they have that structure moving forward. I love that idea.
Exactly. And so, something that I've been working with some of the parents that I have as clients is creating that kind of visuals and the routines, and then also creating some check-ins to get ready for back to school. So I have like a little
Ooh.
check-in where parents are talking to me at the beginning, saying, "Hey, what can we do? What's some struggles we may have, or how can we, help your child grow?" Then I do a check-in in the middle of the summer to kind of see, "Hey, how's it going? Do we need to change anything? Is there any new exciting events that are coming up that you're a little worried about? Maybe a Six Flags trip and we need to go over some rules or help do things like that." And then right before going back to school, kind of helping with that transition and just kind of coaching the parents through it, because it's, those transitions aren't easy for me as a teacher. I don't like going back to school, whether it's a 1 week break or a 4 day weekend or the summer break. I don't like it either. So I have created these things for myself and created them for, some other people in the community that I work with. And so I had a couple of people come, and this is kind of something I've really been working with these parents, and I'm really excited to bring this out to parents.
I love that. And well, another good place to look for things going on in the community is, I mean, there's a love-hate relationship with Facebook groups, but there are parent Facebook groups where you can ask, hey, what's going on? I know locally to me, there's like an exceptional children's, I forget the whole name of it, but it's exceptional children's, like a county wide thing that they have. And they put on a 5K a couple of weeks ago, and they do events throughout like all the time, not just during summer. So there's probably something like that in your area as well. So reaching out. But I love then coming back to you helping and providing those resources to parents that you're working with. So I'm just going to throw out an example. I'm going to wing it here. So let's say that Stephanie, my child Stephanie, we're getting ready to go to Disney. So I could come to you as your client and you would help me do what? Like social stories,
Hmm.
routines and things like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, really creating a schedule, coming up with some social stories to prepare for some of that travel and change in schedule, because that's a really big deal. Helping create visual itineraries. I know that as a traveler myself, I create an itinerary, whether it's in my head or I jot it down or kind of come up with a plan, and creating a small visual for that can really provide a lot of peace of mind to everyone, even if it is just just a checklist or just something like that. There's a wide range of those, so that's something that I've helped with. I also kind of help identify some of the barriers ahead of time. If we prepare for things, things will go a little bit smoother. So, making sure that we're thinking about, okay, do we have like a small bag of fidgets? What's Disney's rule on snacks? Because, there may be a way to have a medical exemption for certain things, or a sensory exemption. And so kind of finding where the rules are and how to come up with those is something that I think is super important, and takes a lot of time to kind of know what questions to ask. And, I kind of just learned that through being a teacher and helping others through this process. And so kind of expediting that a little bit so that, you can focus on planning your trip and enjoying the time with your family. And that's kind of why I started doing this, is to
I
help
love that.
families be able to have that peace of mind without spending the time and the effort, and just be able to enjoy your family time.
Yes. And this is like for even all year, not just summer breaks. So like you're going on a trip anytime, or just different, like preparing for a 2-week winter break. If you have a winter break in December or June, whenever that is. I love that so much. Well, okay, bring it back to summer stuff. We got to come back to summer. So what are some ways then that parents can add in learning to summer without it being a fight with their child?
Making it a family thing. So I something that I've done with kind of the kiddos in the neighborhood is like chalk wars. And so what we'll do is
Ooh.
we'll go and we'll write words on each other's things, and they are in a group, so it's like an association. So maybe we're saying, okay, we're going to do tools this week, and I'm going to go and I'm going to write a hammer on Johnny's, and then he's going to come write a wrench on mine, and you kind of do stuff like that. And that could just be something you do with your next door neighbor, and
Yeah.
really exciting little things like that. It does, but making sure you're consistent about it, and you're doing it the whole summer, because it's really easy to front load your summer and plan, we're going to do math on the sidewalk, and we're going to do, you know, all of these fun things. And then, by the last week, we're, sleeping in June and not doing any of it. So really being consistent and doing them in small doses is how you can not have that fight and really can make consistent progress.
I love that. Well, talking about summer, there's a lot of kids who go to summer camp,
Hmm.
or their summer camp is an option. But maybe parents that have a child with an IEP are thinking, I can't send my child to summer camp because they have an IEP, they need extra needs. So if a child, or if a parent is interested or is putting their student in a summer camp, how can they use the IEP to help their child through summer in the summer camp?
So I always recommend to parents to print out an extra copy of the accommodations and modifications page, because that's the like meat and potatoes of how to change what's going on in a lesson. And when you're doing an activity and you're kind of a camp counselor or something, you're planning, you're like, okay, I think everyone can, um, you know, draw this picture, and but maybe somebody needs a adapted writing tool. If they have that at the information and the access to that information easily, then they're more likely going to do it. I know that in the Chicagoland area, some of the park districts will actually be able to provide some of those accommodations modifications, and even I've seen one-to-one aids at times, if that's something that like before and after school type of programs, or for summer break programs. So there's a lot that might be available if you just ask. I think that that's kind of asking is always the hardest part.
Yes. And I didn't even think of that, like school extracurriculars, that's covered under the IDEA.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, here for this. All these different just things that I've never thought of. I'm here for this. I'm here for this. Well, where are three maybe places families could go that they can include in their summer to support learning? So maybe it's like the grocery store or something like that. But what are three things that maybe they could do to facilitate learning over summer?
So I always love the library programs. I know it's going to sound so cheesy, but some of these
No.
library programs are amazing and they have some really great rewards almost built into it. So maybe they're, doing read a book every week and then they're going to go to water park or things like that. And I've seen some really exciting things. That's a really great way to kind of get included in your community at next to nothing kind of situation. And it could be something you're just going once a week and you may not even have the pressure of checking out a book. Maybe that's too much. Maybe it's just going and reading or even looking at the pictures. I know that seems like, oh, it's not a big deal, but like having books be fun is a big deal. And so if you're just looking at the pictures, if they're just going and picking out the same book every time, that's still an outing where you can work on learning being fun and reading being fun. I think another really good one is the grocery store. It's the amount of things you can do in a grocery store is so much. You can have them read, you can have them look at numbers, you can have, do like I Spy. You can even give them the grocery list. My favorite thing in the whole world is to tell a parent, hey, just give your kid this grocery list and see if they can help you with it. And the amount of times that they can actually help and they're like, wow, this is amazing is it's so refreshing because those are things that are life skills that we all have to do, and it can be learning, and it's also fun. They're getting some one-on-one time with mom. You're getting to see new things. Maybe they're going to see some new foods that they like, and I know that that's always a huge struggle is introducing new foods, and so it kind of just builds into the summer. I think the last one that I really like is like amusement park. I know that's going to sound so silly, but waiting in line, following some rules is hard, especially when there's something so exciting. So working on skills like that is something that you can do in a fun way, and you can have them looking for emergency signs. You can have them reading the wait times and doing simple math problems like, okay, we've been in line for 20 minutes. When we were back there, it said 25 minutes. How many more minutes do we have left? That's real world math problems that I can write down as a teacher and it mean absolutely nothing. But in the real world, when they're practicing it, it's something that's going to be memorable and be able to be generalized and applied in more environments.
Yes, I'm here for all of those. And as you were doing all of those things, I was like trying to think of different activities you could do that, like at the library, you don't necessarily have to. Well, one, reading pictures is reading a book. So if your student is looking at a book and not reading the words and just looking at the pictures, it's still reading. So parents that are listening, please know that and encourage that. You can have them tell their own story or make up their own story based off the characters. Make a second book to the first Hungry Hungry Caterpillar. What would the second one be as the Hungry Hungry Butterfly? Like, so many options. But I feel like one activity that kind of just came to my mind is for all of them was just a scavenger hunt.
Yep.
Like, can you find in the library where the bathroom is? Can you find where the exit is? Where is the kids' book section? Where do we find the milk in the grocery store? Like, those are all such great functional life skills that everyone needs to know. And those really are, I don't want to say this out loud, but those are so much better than like reading on grade level.
Yeah.
Like life skills and functional skills are just, yes. And social skills.
You can't reproduce those.
No.
You can't recreate those kind of situations in the classroom. No matter how hard we try, we can prep, we can do those things, but there's something just about some good old organic real world learning. And that's something that you can really take advantage of in the summer.
Yes. I mean, you don't even have to go anywhere. You could plant a garden or have them plant a flower in a pot and take care of it and nurture it and water it. Make sure it gets sunlight.
Yep.
There's so many things.
So many. And so it's almost frustrating at times when I'm like, there's so much we could be doing this summer. You tell me we did nothing all summer? Come on. You did. I'm telling you, you did stuff. You just don't know you did it. And so let's, figure out how we can just step it up just a little bit, or even give it a little bit more structure to where it, children can be a little bit more successful in going to the grocery store and doing, outing into the community, planting that garden, things like
I mean, setting the table is a huge skill, putting dishes away. Like, and I love that we're having this conversation because I don't know that I know that parents understand how important those are, but to school, like those skills, setting the table, putting dishes away, like those are important skills to also have when you go to school, because you're learning patience, you're learning cleaning up.
Yep.
I mean,
well, and you have to set your desk up. If I tell my students, take out your scissors, your glue, and your paper, I don't know, but it's not much different than a plate, a fork, and a spoon.
That's accurate.
You know what I mean? So it's a skill that we practice at school, we work on, but you can also work on at home. And then I feel like in turn, it kind of gives you a little bit of, a little bit of peace of mind more at home. You're getting, you're having help set the table. Maybe you're getting some chores done together. Maybe your garden's doing really well because they're reminding you to water your plants. It is a bonding experience for families, especially when learning has been a struggle for some families. I know that homework is often a point of, contention between a parent and a child. I know that I argued with my mom and dad over math problems at the kitchen table. And so it brings a new relationship to learning.
Yes. And learning doesn't have to be worksheets. Like, and not all worksheets are appropriate. Like that. Yep. So I love that we're having this conversation. I think that it's so important. Well, to round this all out, what is your best piece of advice for parents that are trying to fight that summer slide, the summer regression that I know that as teachers, we not are in fear of, but that we worry about. And I know that parents worry about it as well. So what's your best advice for that?
Just to kind of make sure that you're thinking about it. I think the hardest part of that is, we forget about the IEP goal. Maybe it's not in our brain, but if you're constantly thinking, or even having like a little, magnet on your fridge that's got a little, some reminders to practice, whatever their goals are. If it's money skills, if it's sight words, maybe then you're just writing those sight words in chalk, or maybe you're doing little things, but having that there for you and just remembering to think about it will automatically make you even talk to your child about it. And I feel like that is often where we kind of get the summer regression, because if your child doesn't have ESY, or that's not something you're doing, it may not be that there's significant regression. It might just be that it's not, in the forefront of our brain at the whole time. But if we're talking about it, it's there for you. If you're thinking about it, even if it's, one problem a day, or one sentence a day, or talking about new vocabulary, just having that in your mind is, I feel like it's just enough to kind of get everything kicked off.
Well, if you're a parent that's listening, one, thank you for being here, or a teacher being here listening, thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about options for students over summer. But if you're sitting here and you're like, this is so overwhelming. I don't even know where to start. I don't have the time or just even the brain mental power after work to think about this. I need some help. That is what Becca is here for. So Becca, please share where we can find you online, where we can reach out to you to work with you to get this done for summer or any other breaks that we have, or even just all year long stuff.
Yes. So my website is beccadelreal.com. My Instagram is Becca Del Real. My Facebook is Becca Del Real Education. And my email is beccadelrealeducation@gmail.com.
Awesome. I will link all of Becca's things, whether you're watching this, wherever you're watching it, it's linked in the text of this video. It's here for you. So I will actually tag Becca as well. So you can just go to her Facebook page if we're on Facebook, but you'll have accessible links in the video description for here. So if you want to reach out to Becca as a parent or a teacher to get more information about just activities that kids can do that aren't necessarily packets of worksheets, again, no harm, no foul in the packets, but there are also other things that we can do as well, that you can just simply recommend to parents as a teacher. Or if you're a parent and you're like, I would love for you to do this for me, and you just tell me what to do, Becca is your girl. So check the links here. Becca, thank you so much for being here and sharing just your knowledge and expertise in this area.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we will see y'all in the next teacher chat.